Hello, welcome to the League of Extraordinary Atheists for Humanism, where we attempt to apply logic and reason to religion and politics. I'm here with my wonderful, beautiful co-host, Christy Santiago.
Happy Friday, guys.
Happy Friday, everybody.
That's me.
So,
okay.
I want to start with the religion and politics thing that you just messaged me, us about. Christy, can you start with that? I don't know the Brazilian president's name, but I want people to know what he is.
Bolsonaro.
Okay.
Dingleberry.
I was thinking he was of Bolivia.
Oh no. Bolivia is a wonderful president who a coup happened and now they have a crazy lady that is like Trump with boobs. But even crazier, who walks through the streets with her Bible saying, we're going to put Jesus back in the government. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
okay. So what did Bolsonaro say?
Bolsonaro said that church services are essential. They are essential. People cannot survive without them. They're the same as groceries and doctors. Therefore, the churches will be packed every weekend. And I'm
It's just not safe.
no. And this is,
Ugh.
I'm an atheist and anti-theist saying, please don't kill these little Christian grandmas and grandpas. Please don't do it. But
It's
they're
usually
going to follow the leader.
saying don't kill people.
Please don't do that. I mean,
Yeah.
I just, no. Essential, maybe their faith to them is essential. I support you in that. That's fine. However, meeting in mass, whether it's a small 20-person church or 100 congregation or 5,000 or some of the, like we have here, arenas where it's like 16,000 people, that's fucking dumb. Jesus isn't gonna save you. Buddha is not gonna save you. Allah is not. The only thing that's gonna save you is not doing that, and not even that is a guarantee. But it's definitely. I can't believe he says this with a straight face to his country. He's their leader. Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's really not the way to lead. Really not the way to lead. Even in grocery stores, like they have 6-foot like markings, like where they're supposed to like stand in line to try to help people with their social distancing. You're not going to get that in a church. Like it's really not the safe way to do it.
No. Think about this. They all stand up and they're all singing hymnals. They're singing hymnals onto the person in front of them. The people behind them are singing on. It's just not smart.
It's not smart.
Brazil could be dealing with a lot less Christians very soon.
Yeah. That's a sad way to look at it.
Yeah, it is a very sad way to look at it. It's
an accurate one.
Irresponsible of him. It's evil of him. That's so wrong. These people, maybe they are not book smart. Maybe some of them aren't science literate. That's a huge majority of our planet, and they're looking to their leader to be safe because he's a strong man. That's why Trump loves him. He's a dictator in waiting. He is a strong man. He's a horrible leader, and so, but they look to him to be safe, and he is putting them in harm's way. So yeah, I know. When I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to share this with you. Look at this idiot. What are they thinking?
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, so that reminds me, I'm just going to share screen real quick for everybody. It reminds me of this meme. I can't remember if you sent this to me, Christy. But it super duper reminds me of this meme. For those of you who don't know, I don't like memes for the most part, but every now and then I find a couple that really get me. Yeah, and that one got me. Yeah. Like, oh no, too true. Too soon? All right.
I mean, ours isn't much better. Ours is saying that Easter is a beautiful holiday. Wouldn't it just be so beautiful if we just opened the country back up, because it would be beautiful. America it's not set up to be shut down. Right. It's a capitalist country. It can't shut down. No. But it is, because things happen. And so this dingbat, instead of going into his mind and contemplating, this is the reality of what's happening, I am the leader, what are my options, what would hurt the least amount of people, he says Easter's beautiful, and he wants to open up the country because Easter's beautiful and it means beautiful things to him, and he has great beautiful memories of Easter, and it means because so much to so many people. Right.
Yeah. And it's a pagan holiday.
I like Easter because I like pastel colors, but I don't think that that's a good reason to go outside and start kissing random people.
Is when is Easter? Is it like this? It's not this coming Sunday, is it?
Mm-mm. No, okay. No. It's I should probably not spit something out. I should probably actually look.
I probably could have looked, but I just put you on the spot instead. That was way easier. I'm sorry, Christy.
That's all right.
But maybe we should do like
April 12th.
April 12th. Cool. That's
Sunday, April 12th.
That's Benny's birthday. So maybe we should do an Easter episode. That could be fun.
And open up the country because it's beautiful episode.
Open, yeah, that too. Yes. We'll call it Let It Roll, and we'll have an Easter egg rolling. All right. So let's move on to our first topic, which we already have.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Biden, the Biden cover-up. So this is a really interesting story. I mean, it's getting a lot of really interesting reactions. For one, as I always do, I check what's trending on Twitter when I sign in before the show. And one of the first things I saw, which is getting much more than the 25th Amendment hashtag for Trump, because they want to remove him for everything like that he lied about the coronavirus. But like we knew that. Why is it a big deal today?
Lies. He does. Yeah. He. That's what he does. If he's talking, he's lying.
He said it was going to be like next to no cases by now, and we just surpassed China and Italy. We have over 80,000 cases now.
We are the world's epicenter. The world. Wait, we're number one at something, Matt.
We're number one. Hey, USA. God damn it. All right. So, anyways, that's not trending as much as excuse me, unendorsed Biden.
Yeah.
Which is kind of great. If I remember right, if I can see it, let me go back and see if it shows me. The 25th Amendment Now hashtag, that has 5,238 tweets. The unendorsed Biden, though, where'd it go? And now it's gone. Why is it gone? Why did it leave? I have the page up.
In real time.
Me, Twitter. Yeah. It had it had 20,000, maybe more. Endorse Biden. Let me see if I can search it. Why is it? Oh, because I spelled endorse wrong. That's why it's not coming up. There.
Yeah. Okay.
It's still not telling me how many. I'm sorry, guys. It has a lot. It had at least 20,000 people retweeting or hashtagging it. So that's that. Sorry, I had the number, and then when I refreshed the page, it went away. So
damn it.
So this is a big deal, at least online, but it's huge. More than a big deal than online. Huge. It is freaking huge, and it took 2 days for Biden to say anything about it.
Do you know who hasn't said anything as of right now? While you and I are doing LEAH right now, CNN, MSNBC, Fox.
They haven't said anything about
corporate news, corporate anything. No.
Now I want to say the Fox thing isn't quite right, because it looked like.
Did you find a Fox?
Well, one of the tweets that I looked at said.
Right, I'm not talking about Twitter. I'm talking about TV. Like most of America that sit at home and get their news haven't heard anything about this. Now, if it was Bernie, do you think that would going on? If it was
No,
Trump,
it'd be everywhere.
you think that if it was anybody, they
No,
would
they're
be
trying to
blabbing about it.
cover
Right.
up Biden.
Oh,
They always
yes.
cover Biden.
Oh, right. And I have something good on this story too. It's really good. I will share it
I hope
in
it's good,
the
because it's a
chat.
bad story.
It's stomach turning. Time's Up said it could not fund a #MeToo allegation against Joe Biden, citing its nonprofit status and his presidential run. Like, what? His crown might fall off his head. Last April, Tara Reid watched as a familiar conversation around her former boss, Joe Biden, and his relationship with personal space unfolded on the national stage. Nevada politician Lucy Flores alleged that Biden had inappropriately sniffed her hair and kissed the back of her head as she waited to go on stage at a rally in 2014. Biden, in a statement in a response, said that not once in his career did he believe that he had acted inappropriately. But Flores' allegations sounded accurate to Reid, she said, because Reid had experienced something very similar as a staffer in Biden's Senate office years earlier. After she saw an episode of the ABC show The View, in which most of the panelists stood up for Biden and attacked Flores as politically motivated, Reid decided that she had no choice but to come forward and support Flores. She gave an interview to a local reporter describing several instances in which Biden had behaved similarly toward her, inappropriately touching her during the early 1990s tenure in the Senate office. In that first interview, she decided to tell a piece of the story, she said, that matched what had happened to Flores. Plus, she had filed a contemporaneous complaint. So we have now receipts of that time. So it isn't like, why did she wait till now? This woman's been trying for a long time to tell her story. And there were witnesses as well, contemporaneous witnesses. So she considered the allegations bulletproof. The short article brought a wave of attention on her, along with accusations that she was doing the bidding of a Russian president, Vladimir Putin. So Reid went quiet. She was told she was a Russian bot, and that you guys have been on the internet. You can imagine. To get legal help, Tara Reid reached out to Time's Up, Time's Up, you guys know Time's Up, which was established in the wake of the Me Too movement to help survivors tell their stories. So she reached out to them. As the campaign went on, Reid, who first supported Senator Elizabeth Warren and then Senator Bernie Sanders, began to reconsider staying silent. She thought about the world she wanted her daughter to live in and decided she wanted to continue to tell her story and push back against what she saw as online defamation. To get legal help and manage what she knew from her first go-round would be serious backlash, she reached out to the organization Time's Up, which, like I said, was established in the wake of Me Too, to help survivors tell their story. That's its job, to help survivors tell their story. Okay. The Time's Up Legal Defense Fund was the recipient of an outpouring of donations over the past 2+ years, and it is set up as a 501c3 nonprofit housed within the National Women's Law Center. It was launched in December 2017 and was the most successful GoFundMe in the site's history, raising more than $24 million. Among the accusers backed, I know, isn't that awesome?
Yeah, that's good.
Among the accusers backed so far by Time's Up are some of those accused by Harvey Weinstein, as well as stories of others with allegations against executives in male-dominated industries. Obviously. The group has committed more than $10 million towards funding cases for women so that they have a voice. In January of this year, Reid spoke with a program director at the NWLC and was encouraged by the conversation. The fact that she was a Sanders supporter and had come forward previously in an incomplete fashion didn't dissuade Time's Up. The program director referred her to outside attorneys, Reid said, and suggested that the Time's Up Legal Defense Fund might be able to provide funding for PR and subsidize her legal assistance. The program director shared with Reed the note she planned to forward to attorneys, which read, in part, quote, "She began publicly sharing the harassment she experienced in April 2019, but was attacked online, including by Richard Princer, University of MN law professor who worked in the Obama administration, and journalist Edward Isaac Dovier for being a Russian operative. There is more to the story of the harassment that she did not feel safe sharing at that time. She is looking for support in sharing her story and guidance on any possible legal action she may be able to take against online harassers." Editor's note: Painter served in the Bush, not Obama administration, and ran for Senate in 2018 as a Democrat. They had to add that. So I wanted to add that too. The references to Dovier, a reporter with The Atlantic, and Painter stem from their Twitter post that highlighted favorable comments Reed had made about Putin in a now deleted post on Medium. Quote, "What if I told you that everything you learned about Russia was wrong?" End quote. She had written in a 2018 post. Also, President Putin scares the power elite in America because he is a compassionate, caring, visionary leader. To President Putin, I say, keep your eyes to the beautiful future, and maybe, just maybe, America will come to see Russia as I do, with the eyes of love. To all my Russian friends, happy holiday and happy New Year. Reed says that she learned about Russia and Putin through a Russian friend in her creative writing group. She is currently writing a novel set in Russia. She wrote the post in the spirit of world peace and solidarity with her friend. She said, adding that the writing should have had nothing to do with her allegation. Right? That has nothing to do with what happened to her. Okay. Reed's leftist mother had raised her to oppose American. I'm sorry?
That makes too much sense.
Well, yeah, there's always that. Whoa, shit. Where was I? Her leftist mother had raised her to oppose American imperialism and be skeptical of American exceptionalism. She hoped that Time's Up would be able to help her push back against the attack she knew would be coming. By February, she learned from a new conversation with Time's Up, which also involved director Sharon Tijani, that no assistance could be provided because the person she was accusing, Biden, was a candidate for federal office, and assisting a case against him could jeopardize the organization's nonprofit status. Bullshit. On February 11th, the program director wrote to Reed that she, quote, "wanted to let you know that after our conversation, I talked further with our director, Sharon Tijani, about our ability to offer funding or public relations support in your case. Unfortunately, the fund's decision remains the same. Please know how much I appreciate your courage in speaking out and appreciate what you shared over the phone, that you are speaking out so that your daughter and other young people can start their careers free of harassment," end quote. When reached for comment by Intercept, the program director Reed had spoken to referred questions to an NWLC spokesperson, Marcia Patrick, who said the organization has legal constraints, quote, "As a nonprofit 501c3 charitable organization, the National Women's Law Center is restricted in how it can spend its funds, including restrictions that pertain to candidates running for election," Patrick responded. When asked why the organizing declined to provide funds to Reed, quote, "Our decision on whether or not to provide certain types of support to an individual should not be interpreted as our validation or doubt of the truthfulness of the person's statements. Regardless, our support of workers who come forward regarding workplace sexual harassment remains unwavering." But by February, Reed learned that no assistance would be provided because Biden was a candidate for federal office. And assisting a case against him, Time's Up, could jeopardize their nonprofit. That was the story. That's what she had. She couldn't go any further. Ruling out federal candidates marks off limits any member of Congress running for re-election, right? I mean, that's what that rule would be.
You would think.
Well, right, as well as President Trump. Ellen April, professor of tax law at LEAH Law School in Los Angeles, said that Time's Up analysis is too conservative and the group wouldn't be putting its tax-exempt status at risk by taking a case involving a candidate for federal office as long as it followed its standard criteria for taking on cases. So it was a lie. As a legal matter, if the group is clear regarding the criteria used as to whom it is taking to court, show that these are long established neutral criteria and that they are being applied to individuals completely independent of their running for office, it would not be a violation of tax law. Groups are allowed to continue to do what they have always done, she said. The public relations firm that works on behalf of the Time's Up Legal Defense Fund is SKD Knickerbocker, whose managing director, Anita Dunn, is the top advisor to Biden's presidential campaign, people. Right. A spokesperson for Biden declined to comment. The SKDK spokesperson assigned to Time's Up referred questions back to the NWLC, who put questions back to her. It's a circle jerk. And they're all working for Biden. Circle jerk. Right. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. There's more. I'm not going to, you get the gist. I just needed to get to the part where she is a direct line to Biden so that you can go and read this yourself and then share it with everybody you know, because he cannot be president or the candidate. He can't even be the candidate. You can't push a woman up against the wall and shove your fingers inside her and then tell her she isn't shit and then expect my vote. Because I'm not going to give it to you. No. I'm sorry. I'm not.
You're and I mean, this is utterly unsurprising to me because of other things we've talked about on the show. Like Kyle Kalinske, what's his nickname for Joe Biden?
Creepy Joe?
Handsy Uncle Joe.
Handsy Uncle Joe.
That's the first thing I thought when I heard about that. Like, oh yeah, well, he's a handsy Uncle Joe. Of course he did that. Like, there's so much more we don't know. I
am egalitarian. I think that it would be insane for me to say believe every woman. Why? They're humans. Some humans are just not good people. Or believe every man. Take every case as if this person is coming to tell you something and listen to it, investigate it. Take it seriously is what I'm saying. Her story fucking plays out. I've met so many gross men that are like that they expect something of you. And when you don't give it, they're just disgusted with you. And because their ego is so hurt, they have to hurt you now. And that is not a leader. I don't want a leader like that. He needs to retire and let his grandchildren rub on his blonde, hairy legs and talk about corn pop. I mean, like, that is what he needs to be doing at home. It's just gross. This story, she told her brother, her mother, her friend, when it happened, right then. It's not like, well, I told people that something was happening. It was, if you look at the parallels between Christy Blasey Ford and this one, they both have receipts. Yeah. The only thing is nobody's looking into this. Yeah. Everybody looked into Christy Ford. Everyone, left and right. Whether they lied or told the truth, they were all talking about it. Nobody's talking about Tara or Biden. We should make it about Biden. It's not about, her. She's brave. And thank you for continuing to come forth with this. I don't want a leader that forcefully sticks his hands inside women. I just don't.
This is something that America struggles with a lot.
I agree.
And and like just in general. So let me explain a little more, like in depth, of why I say that. Because this is a little bit likened to, or especially the Christine Blasey Ford case.
Yep.
It is very much likened to Snowden. They give allegations, right? And the allegations aren't looked at. It's like, hold on, who is saying this shit? What is their name? Who are they? Are they guilty of lying? That's the story we hear all the time. Like, are these true? Not what is true. It's just like, hey, they said something. Who said something? It's not what did they say, it's who said something. And we do it to whistleblowers. We do it to women who survived sexual assault. We've done this with the video that I made for the Catholic sexual assault victims. Like, the priests got away with it so goddamn long because they always looked at the kids and it's like, kids make shit up. Let's not listen to what they are saying. They're just stupid kids, or they're just women, or
he's a man of God. We have to take the man of God seriously.
Right. We tend to let anyone, political or religious, punch down instead of looking why someone's punching up. It's a really, really big problem in society. It's not just America. It's not, but it's an issue with religion and politics for sure, and it's also an issue in everyday, like,
it's power. It has to do with
work.
Power.
It's power.
Yeah,
it does.
Power.
It's a punching down to the up kind of issue. We need to get ourselves one of those shirts. I'm getting a notice, just so you guys know, that my internet is unstable. So I'm not sure. So if I cut out, let it be known. And also, there's like a storm going on behind me.
Storm?
A storm.
There's a storm going on. No, you guys like Mob Deep? I don't know. I'm a Mob Deep girl, so when you said there's a storm going on, I'm like, oh, that's my jam.
I'm not cool enough for that, Christy. Come on.
1998.
Yeah.
I love Mob Deep.
Very nice.
So, yeah.
Also, I like your action figures behind you.
Yeah.
I said Storm, like, oh yeah, and Wolverine.
It's like we're brother and sister or something.
Right.
Look at that.
Look at us.
Yes, I got Hot Girl and Logan. I got my little dinosaurs.
And then yourself back there.
Yeah, I got my little self back there with my pigtails.
You should show everyone that real quick. I forget what her name is. I just call her Christy. It's just barely picking up.
Look at that booty.
That's awesome.
It's just you can hold her by her. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Super cool. Look at that booty.
Yeah, and you can, well, I move them a little too hard, but you can move her arms all different ways. She can, yeah, she's fun.
There you go. Hell yeah.
Actually.
Ooh, did you guys hear that? Like,
there really is a storm.
Yeah. It's crazy.
The end of the world as we know it.
Something's going to take us out in 2020, guys. Whether it be climate change, the coronavirus, Trump's last year, or first of 13 terms of presidency, like something's going to finish us.
I have a bit of good news from scary Venezuela.
Oh, yes. Please tell me.
President Maduro put a moratorium on rent, mortgage, water, electric for 6 months. And then in 6 months, go over it and see if they need to do. Yeah, in 6 months, they'll revisit it and see if, they need to do it again. Because obviously, none of those things can be paid right now. And nobody should be in trouble for it. That's so scary. I can understand why Americans wouldn't want that.
Right? No, it's that doesn't sound right for a murderous dictator to care about their people like that.
Did you see what Pompeo did? Oh no, you didn't. Okay, so
No,
we'll
I
have
didn't see
to
anything.
cover this next week. Pompeo put together this whole CIA. Okay, if you know anything about Pompeo, he is a true blue believer in getting all the Jews to Jerusalem. Armageddon's happening. America is God's chosen country, and our military.
No separation of church and state whatsoever.
No, he doesn't believe in that shit at all.
Church is state.
Church is state, exactly. And he is offering like $16 million for any evidence that leads to Maduro's arrest. Because Maduro apparently now, President Maduro is involved with narcotic drug lords and has been flooding America with cocaine. I can't even make that shit up. That's how, like, he was dead ass serious this week. He had posters, he had a podium, Pompeo, he's showing you all these bad guys and how at the top is Maduro, and that, you know, now there's an arrest for him. And while this is happening, Maduro is talking to his country saying, America is actually a threat to us because they don't have health care. You know, so we can't let any of them in because they have private health care and some people can't afford it. So here, let's just take care of all of ours for 6 months, you know, pretty much saying, y'all keep your crazy drug story and your non-healthcare asses up there.
Yeah. Well, good for him. Oh my God. No,
and he's not perfect. Crazy. Nobody is. I hope anybody that's listening doesn't think that I'm like, you know, I love Maduro, because that's not happening.
I like what again, Christy?
That's my socialism dick suck, I think.
Oh, okay. There we go.
I like policies. I'm a policy junkie. And there are policies that Maduro has that are amazing. And there are policies that this country has put into, you know, that have been amazing. Social Security. And I think that taking care of our own is a good policy to go with. And whenever a leader of any country puts forth a policy that takes care of their people, I applaud it. So.
Yeah. They do. They do a much better job in multiple areas, including public housing, and they can't even complete a lot of their public housing because of the sanctions that we have on them.
Yes.
So
I think
that ain't their fault. That's our fault, and they're still doing better.
We should be embarrassed.
We should be embarrassed, but we're too blind to be embarrassed. So that's really sad.
Right now, there should be no sanctions on anybody.
No,
right
it shouldn't.
Now,
this is awful.
You know,
if we looked at some sanctions from Iran, that's what I was going to say.
Iran. Because when sanctions
hold on. Wait, they can do something. They can make mass graves, people,
and they have,
because we have so many goddamn sanctions on them that we're helping kill off their people. Yeah. But it's fine. It's for democracy. It's for the people. They'll thank us someday when half their families and family members are dead.
I think I'm with Anita Benjamin from Code Pink.
Yeah.
The way that she feels about sanctions, I mean, I'm just like, amen, girl. They are siege warfare. You take, early 1300s and 1400s, 1500s, when an army would surround a castle and not let anyone in or out until there was no food and they've eaten the dogs, the cats. That's what siege warfare is. It's 2020, so we do things differently now. We don't have to go and actually surround them. We are powerful enough to tell all other countries you're not allowed to sell anything to them, buy anything from them, help them. And then things like this happen where they're already struggling, and now they can't find medical. We can't find medical stuff. They definitely can't. You know, I hate war, and I hate siege warfare. To me is like backstabbing bullshit. It's we're above it. I feel like humans are above that. I feel like if citizens were explained exactly what it is, what's happening, what their tax money is going for, would object wholeheartedly. I just do. And so that's why it's so important to explain just the word sanctions. Like, oh, it's just sanctions. They're not going to war. No, they kill. Sanctions kill people, and they kill the most vulnerable. They kill the citizens, not the wealthy elite, not the government, not the leaders, the people like you and me, the people who work at the grocery store.
Who's going to suffer first? The people who don't have any control over their resources, or the people that have control over their resources? Like, right. It's a given. Like, especially if they're any kind of dictating country, like the government tends to serve itself first. Like, look at ours. Look at our country. Like, the Senate has
don't make me. I don't want to.
A much better healthcare plan than anyone else, right? Our public officials do, not the people.
Nope.
The officials that we elect, they get benefits, and they get a salary 4, 5, 6 times larger than the normal U.S. citizen.
Yeah, it starts at like $174,000 a year.
Right, and we're not a dictatorship, but we are also inching towards authoritarianism. So,
yes,
oligarchy.
Yes.
Anyways.
I don't think we're heading towards it. I think we've been there and we're in denial.
Yes. So we have gone astray from the Biden cover-up a little bit.
Us? You and me?
Us?
What?
Yeah.
What?
Tangent? What's a tangent?
I can't even spell
that. So, is there anything else you wanted to touch base on for the Biden cover-up?
I just really just loathe him. I hope that now that you can chat, share that with everyone. Let them know that's why nobody's talking about it. The Time's Up people are directly linked with Biden. And that's the definition of corruption. Corruption! Like, I know every week I feel like a broken record, but here we are again.
Example.
More corruption.
Yeah. Okay. So the
this
last
is
thing
why
I'll say,
I make weed brownies, because corruption makes me eat weed brownies.
That's the only thing she eats, guys.
That's it.
Too much corruption. She reads 3 times as much news as I do a day, and I listen to like 25 hours a week. Anyways, so the last thing I'll say on this is, look, this isn't super surprising, but it is serious. But we did already know that Biden will touch any woman, whether she's 20, 18, 88, or 8, or lower. It doesn't matter. He'll put his hands on anything he thinks is pretty. We have countless photos of this. So let's take this seriously, because we have more than enough probable cause to take this seriously. So really go through what Christy shared and please share it.
And then I want to say that the chat is hilarious and I love you guys.
Yeah, the chat.
They just about Brant, like, well, there's all this cocaine outside, and Airy Fairy's like, that's not essential, Brant. Like, it's just, I can't look down because I'll end up dying laughing. Doorknob Head says he thought I was brushing my teeth because he's innocent. Yeah, we have a group in here tonight.
Yeah,
always.
All right, next topic. Last topic, basically.
Woo-hoo!
So we did this one in 45 minutes. Let's see if we can do this one, or this last one in 45 minutes. Let's see if we can do this one in 45 minutes, and we'll have an hour and a half show. Let's see if we can actually do this.
We can.
Okay. Who to bail out? Who to bail out? Well, I have some good news, and then I have some shit news. Excuse me. Pardon my English. So we the U.S. we have actually passed a bill as of today for the stimulus checks, and it's a doozy. It's a doozy. I have multiple links here. I had one from CNN that was actually pretty good. What? CNN did good? Yeah, they do that from time to time. But they only did good on half of the reporting. So, all right, here down in the live chat, I will actually go through it a little bit. They have a frequently asked questions bit. Oh shit! I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry again about myself.
You cussed at us and then apologize. It's like a yo-yo, this relationship.
Let's go back here to YouTube. All right, that's not the link I wanted you to push. It's this NBC link. I apologize. All right, they have a frequently asked question bit on this article, which was wonderful. So people who made $75,000 or less in 2019 or 2018 will be eligible for a full payment of $1,200. Couples who file jointly that make less than $150,000 get $2,400. This is basic math. They didn't do anything fucking wonky, so that's actually kind of nice. And then every child that you have you get $500 through the stimulus package. Now, from what I know, this is a one-time payout, correct, Christy?
It is one time.
It's a one-time. So hopefully they push for this again, because this is gonna take more than a fucking month, right?
It's like you have a big cut like this from a butcher knife down your side, and they hand you one of those little round band-aids that's for like a wart, and said, "Here you go.
There you go." But we got one for everybody.
Move slow.
Yeah. And this is going to take about 2 weeks for everyone to get. So I hope you don't need it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But anyways,
it's going to take a while to get everyone's out for sure.
By the time you get this check, you're going to need 2 more. It's sad.
Exactly.
So, and then if you have made more than $99,000 in this past tax year,
congratulations. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, congratulations. I hope your rent's not higher than mine. and yeah, you're more or less screwed. They did take out what I had talked about last week, where if you make $40,000 or less, you get nothing. They took that part out, so that's nice. So it's a little less means tested, but it's still means tested. The whole thing's been frustrating. But I am glad that we got this passed. So the whole thing here, actually, hold on. Let me look through real quick. There's different questions. Christy, why don't you stop me on a question that you think is important, unless you want me to go through every single one. Okay. How much will I get? I just said. When is the money coming? About 2 weeks. Will there be multiple payments? No, I already said that. Where do I sign up? I can answer that one. You don't sign up. It's just through the IRS, and there's other ways to get it. How will this money be sent?
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a good one. Okay. If you've gotten a tax refund in the last 2 years by direct deposit, that's where the money will be sent. If not, the IRS can mail a check to your last known address.
Oh, shit.
Right? So hope you updated your address if you moved in the last couple of weeks or more.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
Ruh-roh, Raggy. I got 2 checks.
One doesn't have my name on it, but shimmy addicts.
And then it has 15 days to notify you of the method and amount of the payment. They'll send a phone number and appropriate point of contact so that you can tell them if you didn't receive it. If you've recently moved, it may be a good idea to notify the IRS as soon as possible. The IRS also suggests that if you haven't yet filed a tax return for 2018 or 19, do it as soon as you can, so the government has your up-to-date information on file. How does the government calculate how much I've earned? That's just by your 2019 taxes. If you haven't done that, that's fine. They will just default back to the 2018. If you haven't filed that, that's another question. I think it's lower down. Sorry. I'm on Social Security or don't make enough to file a tax return. Will I get a check? Yes. Even if you didn't file a tax return for 2018 or 19, or pay taxes in those years, you'll be eligible to receive a form, SSA 1099, for the year 2019. That's a form for the Social Security Administration, or that's a form that the Social Security Administration sends each year to people who receive Social Security benefits. So I am about halfway through the questions. But I did send you guys the link, so I will let you guys just go ahead and stop it, Christy.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
Nothing.
I like when you read to me.
Oh,
I'm gonna behave now.
Gonna what?
Behave now.
I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. Christy. Oh shoot, I pushed a button. Guys. All right. A few more things. I'm just gonna speed through them real quick. Are the cash payments taxable? No. Do I have to pay the money back? No. This isn't a loan, it's credit. If you live in Puerto Rico or another US territory, you still get the payment. Same thing was passed for them, which is wonderful. That's a good thing. What if I'm homeless or recently got out of prison? Will I get help? As long as you have a Social Security number, you should be eligible to apply for the relief payments under the new system created by the IRS. I owe back taxes. Will the IRS snatch my check? No, your payment won't be affected if you owe past due taxes to federal or state governments. And the last question here was, I'm behind on child support payments. Does this affect me? Yes, that's a problem. The IRS may reduce the amount the IRS may reduce the amount you receive if you have past due child support payments that have been reported by states to the Treasury Department. There you go. So that is all really yeah. Please do that. Advocate for that strongly here. So NBC and CNN Times, they did some decent reporting on this legislation, all the good parts that most people care about. Right. But there's other parts that people would care about if it was reported on more. Yeah. And that's the problem here. So I'm going to give you one link to another way to look at this, because that part of the bill was good. It was a good start anyways. I'm not going to give it too much merit. Because I can't. The other part should have been a whole separate bill. Should have been a whole separate bill. Hold on, let me say it one more time. It should have been a whole separate bill.
Yep.
Because bailing out the people, individuals, is very important, right?
Yep.
There are more individuals than there are corporations.
I agree.
Or small businesses even, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's two different things. We don't need these tied together because we know how corrupt the government is and how greedy businesses are, especially large corporations, right? What happened in 2008? They got a bailout. They bought their own stocks back so they could raise the price.
Which used to be illegal, guys.
That used to be illegal.
Used to be illegal.
Yes.
Right. And it should
what was
be
that again? When was that Glass-Steagall?
That's part of it. Yeah, but all of
yeah.
After the Great Depression, FDR and Republicans after him who strengthened these laws because
including Ike.
Right. The economy grew so fast, the whole world had never seen anything like it. It was just like, look at America. The top rate is 91%. So once you made, so much, that next dollar and everything above it was 91% went back to the government. And our economy bursted because everyone got it. There was more opportunity. Now, I'm not saying there weren't things wrong and it was still, racially unjust at that time. However, just the money part, just the economy part, that's what we did. We had really strong laws. So other countries saw that, Scandinavian models especially, said, you're right, we need really strong laws and high tax models. So they kept doing it. And then we just have chipped away at all kinds of things. Like we talk about, mentioned on the show, Bill Clinton took away the law, the Munt law, it means that you can't have propaganda in news. Before this law was taken out, any news channel, when they would bring on so-and-so to talk about whatever, they would have to bring on someone who disagrees so that side can be represented as well. Now, I'm not saying like vaxxers and anti-vaxxers. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking like a left perspective and a right perspective, or a libertarian perspective and an anarcho perspective, like just more perspectives. And that law got taken out. And so what happens is we're ended up where we are right now. Like every other country on this planet going through a pandemic, but we had all of these protections chipped away. So that's why it looks the way that it looks right now. Getting 1,200 to a lot of people feels like, oh, that's amazing. But it's better than nothing. I agree. It's better than nothing. If you want to keep a capitalist society and you do not provide the means to the citizens to keep up consuming, then you can't have a capitalist society. Capitalism is consumerism. If there is nothing extra to consume, you don't have an economy. So if they care, 1,200 is going to have to be like each month while this is going on, and they can say they can't afford it, but they're putting $1 trillion into Wall Street every single day. And who are we going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for that? How are we going to pay for it? I mean, have you heard anyone say that? Of course not, because that's not what matters. So try to keep all this perspective. How we're going to pay for it? Citizens have been paying for it, and they'll continue paying for it. America's not going anywhere. It's going to be here, and our children's children will all be paying taxes and hopefully have a better government that loves and, represents them. Hopefully our generation can help fix what the boomers and the fat cats of while FDR was president, they were trying to chip away at all those New Deal. And the minute they had things ready for when he wasn't president to just, take away those protections. They were so mad that, like Bean, see, he feels the
Bean's
same
mad.
way. He's mad. He's like, will you stop talking about FDR? God damn it.
Talk about me.
Mr. Bean, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. I'll try to get him up here so he'll be quiet. And then everybody likes to see him because he's cute.
Yeah.
Come here. What's this? Oh, you're sitting so pretty. Come here. You can't have my pop brownie. That's
Hey, Bean
good.
boy.
Hi.
There's Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean. But
so, I have no idea where I was on this. No, it's okay. No, you're cool. Okay, so here's the thing. This is a $2 trillion bailout for America. You can't just say the American people. You can't just say corporate America. It's covering a lot of things. But there's some funny stuff here.
Yeah. I agree.
75% of this actually goes to the American people. Let me actually get the list. Where did I put it? God damn it. All right. The American people, a major expansion of unemployed benefits, hospitals and healthcare providers, and financial assistance for small businesses. It's about 5 things, depending on how you count it. Because it says individuals and families, but I just said the American people. So that's a lot to spread that $1.5 trillion to. $1.5 trillion. That number rings a bell for some reason, Christy, right? Mm-hmm. What they just dumped in for one day to help the banks.
Every day.
For a half an hour. Well, that was the first day.
That was the first day.
That was first day. But yeah, they haven't stopped. Anyways, so what they get in one day, we get for a month. Everyone gets for a month. Mm-hmm. Fucking crazy. Sorry, hold on. I'm not done yet.
I don't know about you, but it makes me think of Kyle Kalinske. How are you gonna pay for it?
How you gonna pay for it? Yeah, I had that in the back of my head. All right. So that's 3/4 of it. They're helping things that we need helped. The other quarter of it, whole other quarter, goes to distressed companies, the way CNN said it. These are larger corporations. Actually, let me tell you, the number you're hearing is, sorry, I'm getting this from prospect.org, which I sent a link to, this article here. The number you're hearing is $500 billion.
Yeah.
Of that, $75 billion goes to the airline industry, which is important. We would like those to continue to work. And the mysteriously named business critical to national security. So whatever that is. The other $425 billion helps to capitalize $4.25 trillion. $4.25 trillion with a T, to leverage lending at the Federal Reserve. So I don't understand the whole banking system super duper well, but listening to people who understand it better than I do, when you can leverage this so they can lend out. Well, it's like a down payment, more or less. Mm-hmm. They're giving this for $425 billion to the Federal Reserve, more or less, to what is it, like times to 10% or whatever. So they can actually lend out $4 trillion. 425 billion turns into 4 trillion and $250 billion.
Right.
Like
There's
I said,
not
it's kind
too
of like
many
a down
rules on
payment.
that, though.
And there's not
On
too
that,
many
there's
rules on
not.
this at all.
Like, on that, I would be okay with that amount and everything. If
If
it
there were
has
rules.
stipulations like this amount is going to the airlines. However, you can have all of this if you do not fire anyone. You continue paying them as if they were working on a furlough, or however, whatever you want to call it, just like Canada's doing, like everywhere is doing, because they care about their people. And then if you did these things and took care of your workers, then you wouldn't have to pay it back. Like, hello,
Right.
that's how it
Right.
should be done. But it's not. And you guys know Trump. You guys know his little gang of hoodlums, the gangsters. And if you don't kiss the ring or shine the boot, he doesn't like you. If you're a reporter who is pretty conservative and you ask a question to Trump that's a little bit challenging or not challenging at all, he just doesn't like you that day, you're no longer in his favor. So that's who we have in control of all of this funding. And there aren't a lot of, like strong laws or rules to much of it. He's going to be able to give it to who he wants. Pay attention to like cruise ships. I know in this bill, cruise ships didn't get anything. But let me tell you guys, I just like, wait, why would, I mean, I understand I live in Florida, vacation world. There's cruise ships coming in and out of here every single day. And I thought, oh God, all the people that work there, I've had many clients doing hair of people who worked on cruise ships. I would see them every 3 months and they'd been to Jamaica and Bahamas, and they were just regular people and they live paycheck to paycheck like almost all of America does. And so I thought, well, why wouldn't they get bailed out? They're not American. They're not. They're like Scandinavian. Actually, there were 4 places that these cruise ship corporations come from, and all of them are tax havens. They're not American. They're not U.S. corporations. They don't reside here. They don't pay taxes here. Why the fuck would we bail you out? Like, that made
and we actually didn't?
No, not in this one. But they're still trying. They're still trying. Yeah.
Because they can still lobby.
Because what it is Americans own the company. They might have houses here, but they have houses everywhere. But their company is out of Barbados or, some little tax haven that it's just a building that other people live there. Like, it's not real. No, I'm sure they have actual offices. I'm just being hyperbolic. However, they're not American. They're not U.S. corporations. They don't pay U.S. taxes. So why would you put your hand out to get some tax relief from the U.S. taxpayers? No! No! Oh my God, that made me so mad. That they were even trying made me so mad. Because, that whole meme, welfare queen, always with her hand out. She's having extra babies so she can get more welfare. No, that's you guys. That's you guys having more, tax havens so you can get more money and then putting your hand out to get corporate welfare. Fuck up!
Yeah. So I was kind of focused on just
in rare form.
Yeah. So I was kind of focused on the number for a minute. So I want to finish focusing on the number and then
Okay.
get to the robbery part that Christy was kind of alluding to a little bit. So a quarter of this goes to larger corporations. Anything that the Federal Reserve sees fit. Uh, so, as I just explained, this $4.25 trillion gets made by the $425 billion because it's like a down payment, and then they can just loan out um, that much money. So that makes this bailout, the stimulus package, actually more of a 6 trillion or 6.3 trillion dollar bailout. Does that make sense?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that means if you look at it that way, that's what they're going to use more to bail out these companies and keep stocks up and keep larger corporations afloat because they can't handle a couple months off, even with the bailout that they got 12 years ago. Sorry, just saying. It makes it more of a $6 trillion bailout. So that means the American people, the larger population, plus hospitals, and what else did I name? They get $1.5 trillion for a one-time payout. And larger corporations actually get $4.5 trillion. That's kind of a shakedown. And it is a one-time payout, but they're already benefiting from what's being thrown into the stock market. And
if you look up how much they've paid in taxes, I don't know, pick a year, 2012, 2011, 2015, 2018, 20, go look. I'll wait.
I don't want to. I'm not going to today.
Because they're welfare queens. Yeah. They sit like this and don't pay in. I mean, there's philanthropy. They are philanthropists. That's because they want cheaper taxes, and they're of the mindset of taxes are theft, and I'd rather choose what gets done with my money. Which, if you're not knowledgeable and you're not informed, that can make a lot of sense. There was time when I was a teenager when I was like, hell yeah, duh. But you can't take your own highway with you when you travel. You know, there was a time when fire departments weren't nationalized, and if they would sit there and bargain with you while your house burnt down on a price. There's a reason why we have, as a society, decided that we want all of these things to be better. We want our children's education to be, all of these things. But these corporations are not playing a part of that. The system that helped them become amazing, that helped them become successful, that put the name of their company in everyone's mouths, that system they reside in that lifted them up, they don't want to do a damn thing for except for hold their hand out and collect taxes. It makes my blood boil. I know I'm smiling, but that's because I'll go crazy if I don't. Like, it really is infuriating.
She smiles when she's angry.
It's infuriating.
It is. So
I want to shake the shit out of them.
As we say often on the show, there's some industries that just shouldn't be for profit, right? Yeah. They just shouldn't be. And I'm not going to go into the whole spiel right now because we have enough to talk about. But yeah, just think: fire departments, police, healthcare, all those things that we're told we should want to be when we grow up. They should all be publicly funded because they're all for the public good. Not because we need big government. It's just because we need a public good, right? We need to fund public goods like schools.
Yes.
No doubt.
And, if we funded the schools more equal. If schools weren't funded by the property tax area they're in, you know, if you live in a wealthy area, property taxes are going to be high and your schools are going to be very well funded. But the other countries have also looked around and benefited from data and science and how things have worked and not worked. Finland, I'm always talking about, has the best education because they saw that and was like, that is really unequal to have, you know, what a child is born into is no fault of that child's. And if as a country we want all of our children to have the best education, then we can no longer decide to fund schools by the area they are in. We have to collectively as a nation collect those taxes, just however they're taxed now, and go into one pot, and then that goes out to all schools equally. And you know what that does? That makes this wealthy family who might have not wanted their children to hang around with the other kids on the other side of the track, goes to school with those kids. And now this kid benefits because this family's not going to let their school go without, obviously. Mm-hmm. And this kid benefits because now he has friends in the real world and he's not so isolated. And when he
goes back to that perspective you were talking about earlier.
Exactly. And when this wealthy kid inherits his family's conglomerate and he goes to knock down a neighborhood to build a whatever, it might be harder for him because his friends actually live there. And it's not just an ideal. I know that does sound idealistic. It's very beautiful and idealistic. However, the fruit is already bearing fruit. The data is in on that. It's been working in Finland. They're number one in education on the planet and have been and will continue to be because of things like this. And so we have a long ways to go. And I think this COVID-19 has really put a flashlight on a lot of things for a lot of people. I mean, I'm hearing very conservative people call for UBI, which I'm just like, yeah.
Look, we need socialism to bail out capitalism.
I think we just need
once every 4 to 7 years.
Humanism.
That's just a thing.
Humanism. We need humanism.
You're spoiling the question I was about to ask you.
Well, I think that people are just so scared of the word socialism because we have horrible education in this country and Nazis are national socialists, and that's what they know. That's what they think. They think I've met
any neo-Nazi in this country is a far right.
Absolutely.
Far right. They're fascists, which are not socialists.
Fascist is also on the right. Right.
Yes. It's not the same thing. Nazis are fascists, so are neo-Nazis.
People in this country don't know that, though. I mean, I'm sure you've met people. I've met people who swear Nazis are on the left, swear dictators are on, that's the leftist. And there can be a dictator with any ideology.
Communism kills.
Yeah. It's just, it's so frustrating when we are trying to have these legitimate humanist conversations about how to live a better, more egalitarian, fairer life. And we can't, because the things we're talking about aren't reality for other people. And it sucks because they're actually factually, demonstrably reality, but they're just not there yet. And it's,
So and two questions.
We had a question from Stripper Liquor. That's an amazing name.
I did
my name on a night or two. No, I'm just kidding.
He asked, did the anti-abortion clauses get wrapped up into the final bill? As far as I have seen, they haven't.
No.
Okay.
They can't. And let me tell you why. Okay. So every time in this nation, when we're near an election or someone's up for re-election, abortion this, abortion that. It's just going to happen. As of right now, and until the federal law changes, it is the law that abortions should be safe and legal. Now, states can do all the crazy shit they're doing and make it so that it's really hard for girls to, to be able to even get there if they only have one. But as far as changing the law that it's not safe or legal, that it's illegal, no state can do that. Right. Because it would have to, the law would have to be changed. And so every time
the courts would have to strike down the bill. They wouldn't be able to get it passed.
Yes, it would have to change. Now, that's why they're near elections, you'll always hear way more shit about it. And that guy in Texas that said, stop doing abortions right now, they're not essential, is a monster. Because I'm sorry, let's say something horrible happened. I'll put myself in someone's shoes. Something horrible happened to me. And not only am I recovering from this trauma, but now I found out there's some fucking parasite inside of me that he left there and it's growing. And now we're in a pandemic and I have to let it stay growing in me. Fuck you. No, it's essential to get that monster out is how I would feel if something like that happened. And who knows what anyone's going through. What if it was their stepdad or I don't know. I think that the government should stay the hell out of stuff like that. They should don't spy on us. Beanie. And they should stay out of our uteruses. If men had a vagina, the government would have nothing to do with it. I promise you. They just wouldn't.
I think a really simple way to look at this, without looking at it emotionally, is look at it simply like this. Most anti-abortion arguments come from a religious background. And we have a separation of church and state. You can't really use those arguments and something like this and let them really be valid if you want separation of church and state. Otherwise, church and state works both ways, right? No one really wants that. So those arguments are pretty much void. Other than that, we just don't. It's not a monster growing inside of you, right? It's a bundle of cells. It's a bundle of cells, and it is technically, it's a zygote, and it is a parasite, right?
Yeah, it can't survive on its own.
Just for anyone who's more conservative who's watching, I wanted to clarify that is our stance, and it doesn't have to be. Christy made all fair points, but I also wanted to give the other part of the argument. Look, it is just a bundle of cells, and if you have a religious argument, I'm sorry, we have a separation of church and state. You can't use it in a political policy like this. Anyways.
Yeah, no, that's the main point, is that we do have a separation of church and state. And the reason they're using...
We don't want to kill babies.
No,
we just don't want a bundle of cells.
No, I'm a baby monster. I love them. They're delicious. No, I'm just
Especially with a little bit of barbecue sauce.
No, I really, really, really do love babies. I just... Animals and babies, they love me. I love them. And I'm not, evil or thinking that I go out and hurt babies. No, I'm actually from a humanist point of view. I'm thinking about the individual who was just told that the thing that is keeping her up at night and making her, her whole life on pause is not essential. No. How dare you put your religion into her way? And I have never personally talked to someone who objected it that wasn't religious. It's always a religious reason. And I'm not saying that there aren't people that aren't religious that object it. I'm sure there are. I just haven't met one myself. However, my thing is that's fine. If you don't agree with it, then you don't have one. If you don't believe in gay marriage, don't get gay married. It's very simple. America, what about freedom?
Wait,
Keep the government.
I believe in. So wait, does that work both ways? Because I believe in gay marriage, but I didn't get gay married.
You can get gay married to us.
I can't. Oh, yeah. Okay. I dig.
You and Lindsay.
Thanks, Christy.
Yeah.
Dig it.
And Nacha.
I think
we
she'd
can
be
all
down.
just get gay married.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll live on a compound.
Yes, we've talked about the compound, but we shouldn't talk about the compound.
Oh yeah, that's the first rule of compound. You can't talk about the compound. Yeah.
Excuse me. Okay.
You're silly.
Me? Silly? No.
Yeah.
So back to the main thingamajig here. And why we went off on all of these tangents, like the education, right? Is we can't focus on education the way we want to. We can't focus on healthcare the way we want to when we have bailouts like this, which our country's main focus, Christy and I's country. I know we have some international viewers and producers. But we don't focus on education. We don't focus on healthcare. We don't focus on almost anything but the economy. And when I say the economy, they are talking about the stock market.
The wealthy. Do you have any stocks, Mac?
I don't have any stocks, Christy. Do you?
No. Stacy doesn't either.
No,
my mom doesn't.
I probably couldn't afford any that are worthwhile.
I don't think my dad does.
I just recently learned my dad does.
That's awesome. A lot of people that were like from the greatest generation, with their retirement and through their jobs and through their unions, they did get, but back in the day, they actually used to pay you dividends too, but now.
Right. And here's my quick argument against stocks, because I feel like if you want to help a company out and you want to return on that, that's fine. That's whatever. But I don't think that should be your essential means of earning money, or it goes against meritocracy, is my argument against it. And that's what most people, especially on the right or a moderate, says about minimum wage, or either like having it so low or raising it, or even having a maximum wage. Like they say, well, I believe in meritocracy. Like, if you can work hard enough to make this or that, you should be able to make it.
Bootstraps.
But no, bootstraps. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
That's what I want to tell all of these corporations that have their hand out. I want to be like, you didn't save. You didn't know something was going to happen. I mean, something always happens. What about your bootstraps? Right. You didn't save for a rainy day? What? You're so irresponsible. Now you expect the government
just like
to help
all these individuals. Right. And just like the bank bailout, if you want to save the banks, if you want to save these corporations, what's a good way to do it, Christy? I'm not going to tell anyone what I'm thinking. What's a good way to save the economy? What's a good way to save the banks and save big businesses?
With the banks and everything, democratize the enterprise. I think that adding more democracy, not less, putting actual workers on your boards as stockholders. I think putting your actual workers up on top with your CEO. I think making sure that your workplace has democracy where everybody votes when you're going to have your meetings, who's going to be their manager. Obviously, they can't just, fire you. Look for Italy does things like this. The Bugatti motorcycle is democratized. It is exactly the way that you want to do a business. Everybody has meaning. Everybody has a say. And, a raise because you've all sat down and voted on what day of the year everyone's going to get a raise. And you know how much everyone makes, so there's no secrets. And for the big banks like we have here, I want to implement not just that democratizing the enterprise, but the toppest paid person can't be paid any more than 8 times the bottom. So if the top wants a raise, the bottom has to get a raise. You tie these things together because it's the right thing to do for the humans you share this planet with. If you want to save big bank, then we've got to implement democracy into the workplace. You know, we say democracy and American democracy and freedom, but the workplaces in this country are a totalitarian dictatorship. All of them. Yeah. And it's wrong.
It is wrong. It is wrong. Another way to help is just only bail out consumers.
Oh, well, I mean,
if you give them the money to live their life close to normal, they will spend money close to normal, and you will have normal gains.
Yeah, no, Richard Wolff says the same thing. Yeah. That you can bail them out. Everybody needs a bailout. He says it should be equal. However, if you bail out big companies, it has to come with very strict regulations.
Very strict. That you can't fire anyone. Oh, that's where I was going to go.
Yeah. That benefit the people. So if you want to take this $20 million, let's say Wendy's restaurant, a bank, was it First American? I'll just make one up. You want to take this $120 million for your bank? Fine. However, you can't let go or fire any of your workers. You have to continue paying them till this is over. You have to, I think a big part that would save a lot of things in this country is obviously healthcare for all, because then the workplace doesn't have to also, on top of paying workers without anything coming in, pay for their healthcare. I think that this pandemic is showing people, if they will open their eyes, exactly where we are weak. And I'm okay with bailing out big business. As of now, right now, in reality, we live in a capitalist society. And so I can't just change the rules. We have to live inside it and change it if we want to change it. And if we don't, then we will go into a depression. So there's nothing wrong with everybody getting help. The only problem is there has to be bottom up. The bottom should get the most help. And so if corporations want help, then that help that they get has to go to their workers. Because I promise you that CEO that's making $197 million every 6 months is just fine.
Yes, I am sure they were just fine for life.
Unless he got into Pompeo's secret Venezuela cocaine habit, you know.
Oh, yeah, there's that.
If perchance he fell into that habit. I can't believe Pompeo's doing that. I can't.
All right, so I remember where I was. I do.
Yeah.
The stipulations on these large corporations, like, hey, you cannot fire anyone, or you can't use it for stock buybacks, or all those good things that make sense. We don't want to see large corporations take advantage of a bailout. We just want to see them, not just fail because of something like this. But those stipulations are on small businesses. The small businesses can't fire anyone. Small businesses do have certain stipulations. The large businesses do not. And they did take out, actually, for the large businesses, they did take out it was all going to be kind of secret, the loans.
I know. Yeah.
But they took that out. But the oversight, getting back to the quoting this article, but the oversight is largely after the fact, without subpoena power, and mainly reduced to writing reports. So the way that this article kind of words this whole thing, this whole quarter of the bailout, this is a robbery in progress. And it's not a bailout for the corona.